won't let him be. And our blocking hasn't been as crisp. Peyton hasn't been as effective. If our blocking starts getting better, Peyton will be more effective.
Quarterback Bob Avellini has been the recipient of most of the criticism this year, but he insists that he's playing as well as he ever did.
You know, believe it or not, I really think that I've improved even over last year. And last year we made the playoffs.
Actually, I think Bob has progressed quite well, Mike. He is having a good year, despite the fact he has had 15 interceptions. That is the worst thing, of course, that Bob has done. He's come up with some key interceptions at exactly the wrong time.
Losing 6 straight games is not Bob Avellini's fault. We could probably make a change at tackle and a change at halfback and a change at wide receiver. We just have agreed that we don't think changes are desirable at this point.
Not making changes is the bottom line, I guess, in the Chicago organization. That's how they feel they will ultimately win and be successful.
Well, if they don't win today, I'd say they could start planning for 79. When we come back, we'll take more football. Stay with us.
This is the famous design of Oldsmobile's Cutlass Supreme. It's one big reason why more mid-sized car buyers chose Cutlass over the last 4 years than any other car. But there's another reason. Cutlass is different cars for different people. Those who want style, value, and good gas mileage choose Cutlass Supreme. Those who like the look and feel of a grand touring car choose Cutlass Calais with bucket seats, special suspension, and full instrumentation. Those who want the nicest of luxury touches choose Cutlass Supreme Brougham with richness inside you'd expect in bigger, more expensive cars. Cutlass, different cars for different people. All of them come with that solid Olds engineering and that great Cutlass feeling on the road. Millions of Cutlass owners know the feeling and love it. Why don't you take a test drive at your Oldsmobile dealer now and discover that great Cutlass feeling too? Olds Cutlass Supreme. Have one built for you.
To every secretary who ever asked why centering a line can't be automatic, and why setting up columns, and indenting, and underlining, and erasing too can't be automatic. To all those secretaries, IBM says, wait till you get your hands on this. The new IBM electronic typewriter. So automatic that while you fold the letter, it types the envelope. Now that's automatic.
I love our new house, but I wish we could get a break on the insurance.
You can get a break with Allstate. Our new house discount cuts 10% off.
Honey?
It's okay. 10% off?
10% off our base homeowner's premium.
Your home is 5 years old or less.
Yeah.
Then you qualify for our new house discount.
Now, that's a real break.
No, just a bruise.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
And that's a promise from us, the good hands people.
Each week when we've shown you college highlights, we have paraded out any number of legitimate Heisman Trophy candidates. But upway of Ann Arbor, Michigan, the people there have thought for 3 years that Rick Leach was a legitimate Heisman Trophy candidate. Now they know he's won.
It's kind of hard not to think about the Heisman Trophy right now due to the fact that just about every week somebody's coming up with questions about it.
If we have a Heisman Trophy winner, it would be tremendous. If we don't, we still think it's more important to have team success.
Because I did get to start my first game as a freshman, that a lot of the learning process that I had to do had to take place right out on the field.
This isn't any flash in the pan. This is a young kid at the age of 18 that took over our team, has rewritten all the record books here at Michigan, and has just done a tremendous job in every respect.
Well, our first 2 bowl games I played in, the Orange Bowl when I was a freshman, and then the Rose Bowl when I was a sophomore. Each game, I didn't have a very good game throwing, and so, of course, there was a lot of criticism that we couldn't win the big game, that Rick Leach choked in the big game, and that I also couldn't pass it. And really, it kind of hurt me deep down inside because I felt that with the right type of offense and the way it was set up, I feel that I could throw with anybody in the country.
He's a winner and a great football player, and the only problem we have with him right now is he's a senior.
I just want to have as good a year as possible in football season, and then also I'll be playing with the baseball team in the spring. And last year I was fortunate. I won the Big Ten batting championship and ended up hitting .473. I just want to go ahead and do the best I can in each sport, and then when the draft comes up at the end of the year, take it from there.
I think Rick Leach could make it in professional football. In some cases, I think the pros are more interested in just the pure drop-back passer. But that's just my opinion. I could see Rick Leach being the stabler of the future.
Rick Leach is, of course, not without critics of his passing game, but then again, fans are fickle. Witness what's happening on the coast where Ray Malavasi won 7 games but has lost his last 2, Mike.
And Ray is witnessing a little second-guessing on the part of some fans also. But after his long apprenticeship in the NFL, he's just happy to be there, I guess.
Head coaches. There are 28 of them in the NFL. The job is frustrating, emotionally and physically draining, a breeding ground for ulcers. Who would want a job where the mortality rate was nearly 50% in the last year? Where starting pay is often less than half of what is paid to the men who call you boss? Where 18-hour days are common, and job security depends on the score of last week's game. New coaches usually come from the ranks of the more than 200 assistants in the NFL. But there is no guarantee that the long years of apprenticeship and preparation will be rewarded with a head coaching position. And even for these, the lucky ones, like Red Miller, getting the job is just a beginning. Names like Shula, Landry, Madden, and Grant are household words. But for each of those men, there are at least 10 whose names have been forgotten forever. Names like Marcia Broda, Michaels, Bennett, Patera, McCauley, and Retigliano will soon be added to one list or the other. Ray Malavasi had to wonder if his chance would ever come. He started his 25th year as an assistant coach in a hospital bed waiting for open-heart surgery, a quadruple bypass, and finished the year hearing the announcement that George Allen, instead of Ray Malavasi, had been selected to be the new head coach of the Los Angeles Rams. Ray is a modest and unassuming man. There were parts of his story that we knew we couldn't get from him. So we arranged a visit with Mary Malavasi at their family home in Huntington Beach. She's very proud of her husband and his success. But we also talked about the lean and tough years, the times when they considered a less demanding profession. They didn't quit, and I asked Mary what kept them going in pursuit of Ray's goal, being a head coach in the NFL.
I think his strength. I think he's a very strong man. He has always had a dream, always. He's, if you're familiar with temperaments, he would be considered a choleric temperament, the type that feels that he can do anything he wants to do and will be successful in what he does. And he has always felt that he would be an outstanding head coach, given the opportunity.
Mary, you and Ray met in the service, didn't you?
Yes,
Did you outrank him?
I did. I was a first lieutenant and he was a second lieutenant.
Kid, you still pull rank on him?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he used to have to salute me. So I'm still the boss back here.
You're still the boss here, even though he's the head coach now?
Yep, I sure am.
Yeah. Tell me about those early years.
Well, basically, they were good because of the fact that when we started out, since we were both working, you know, plus we were both 25, and I think we're ready to settle down, you know. But we moved 23 times in 24 years of marriage. You know, a couple times in the same city, like we would rent and move, and then we'd buy a house. So we have bags, we'll travel.
And they did travel. Ray's first job, working for Murray Wormuth as an assistant at Minnesota. Then on to Memphis State, where he lasted 3 years, and a single year at Wake Forest. Ray's first professional experience, Denver, 1962. Briefly in 1965, he would be Denver's interim head coach. After 2 years in Canada and 1 with the Buffalo Bills, they moved to Oakland in 1971, and finally to Los Angeles as defensive coordinator in 1973. Ray, in those years as an assistant coach, the 25 years that you were really preparing yourself to be a head coach, there had to be a lot of frustration in the amount of time and the amount of energy you put into some losing causes.
Well, very much so. I think it is frustrating. I think a lot of times when you're with a losing team, you do a lot better coaching job, but no one else realizes that. It makes you work harder. It makes you go into more fundamentals. It makes you study the game more.
George Allen was fired. Carol Rosenblum
called you into his room and said, "You're my new head coach"?
Well, that's just about how it happened. It took me about 35 minutes in conference with Carol Rosenblum and offered me the head coaching job of the Rams, and that was very much a shock at that time. I didn't expect it.
I think, frankly, as I look back now, it's a very difficult life. If you're afraid of security, this is the worst business in the world to be in. I've always kept my RN up so I could always go to work, you know, and knew we'd have some food on the table. Ray has a degree in civil engineering. He lacks but for a few hours for a degree in math. He's had a certificate for selling stocks and bonds, so that I feel there's always been many things he could do. I didn't think we'd ever starve. So I think because of that, you know, if you're going to have to work for a living, you might as well be happy.
Ray, the first half of the season was kind of like a fairy tale. Allen is fired, Ray Malavasi, assistant coach, hired, 10 straight victories. If you had a chance to write the script for the last half of the year, what would you write?
Well, if I could write my own script, I'd write that I'd go undefeated the remainder of the year and win the first 2 playoff games and go into the Super Bowl. That's our ultimate goal, and that's what we're shooting for.
Does Ray have a new dream now?
Oh, I think so. He wants to be the best coach that ever walked the street.
Ray Malavasi's opportunity as a head coach was a long time coming, but he's made the most of it. Under his leadership, the Rams have won consistently and convincingly. His players have come to respect him as a leader and as a man. In other NFL cities, where assistant coaches wait for their chances, the word is that there may not be a vacancy in Los Angeles for many years to come.
It's also pretty good that Ray Malavasi has a thick skin, because L.A. can be a pretty tough football town.
Well, Bart Starr is building up a thick skin also. He's building it in Green Bay, where some people are wondering if that record they've put together has been totally within the rules. We'll examine the question when we come back.
Take any razor available in America. Any razor. Now there's an electric shaver that will shave as close or your money back. The Remington XLR. Remington can guarantee a close shave because only Remington has this remarkable 3-part system. The first head shaves close, the second closer. The unique intercept cutter is designed to shave longer hairs. The Remington XLR. It shaves as close as a blade or your money back.
Flowers are all the things you mean to me, and all the love you bring to me. Anytime, any place, on any day, flowers and plants just seem to stay. Forever and ever, they go together with you.
Make an arrangement with your florist today.
Bart Starr's Green Bay Packers have built a 7-2 record, but now they've run into a problem. They've run into a problem with Rule 12.4 of the NFL rule book, which says that a team can bring a player in for 1 day for a tryout. The Packers brought in Dwayne Thomas, but did he stay for 1 day?
Dwayne had written me a very nice note about 2 weeks ago and said that if we were ever looking for a back, he'd like some consideration. He had taken great care of himself, and he'd like a tryout. I was so impressed with the letter that we brought him in a week ago today and gave him a very thorough physical examination, which took a day, and then we gave him a tryout. And when I visited with him afterwards and told him that he had fared well in the tryout, he said, "You know, I've been away so long." He said, "Would you mind if I stayed around a while and just worked out?" And I said, "No, you know, he's footing his own bills." And I said, "If you want to do that, that's up to you." And he said, "Well, I'd like to." And I guess he, at one morning, borrowed some equipment from us and went down and balked on the sleds and so forth. We're not down there. As you know, we meet until about 12 every day, and then we go on the field. I never saw him. I talked to him this morning and told him that we had not made any decision relative to our people, and he left town.
Bart Starr's overreaction to the problem has compounded the problem in Green Bay. He talked to our Don Sutton about his new controversy, the one between Bart and the press.
Well, Tom, it's unfortunate that sometimes when we chat off the record, as you and I have, and there has to be some of that, that a writer chose to put that out on the wire. It's regrettable, but there's not much more than that I can say about it now. And I told the writers, I said, you know, it's interesting that here we are in the midst of a great season, and you go and dig something like this up that may or may not be even a technicality and choose to put something like that. And I said, if you folks take that approach and cost us because of something like this, this is a way that the conversation was going off the record. And lo and behold, one of them puts it out on the wire, and that's the story as it happened.
Perhaps Bart's problem would be greatly eased if he simply realized the sports writers in Green Bay do not, in fact, work for the Packers. Bart and a lot of other coaches would be wise to remember that they are not the only men in the NFL with a job to do. Now, in the interest of fair play, we asked Bart Starr this week to reply to the charges, but he chose not to. Evidently, the opinion is that if he doesn't talk about it, the problem will just go away. It won't, but we hope Bart's inflexibility will. NFL 78 goes down in the field right after we take time out for commercial break.
Nick Nolte in return to Macon County.
Ready? I'm ready. I was born ready, baby. Blast off.
They planned on running at Drag Racing's Nationals. Instead, they're running for their lives.
We got cops chasing us. We got everybody chasing us. You got it.
Nick Nolte, Wednesday.
Gift wrap your home and save, too, at the JCPenney pre-holiday home sale. Save on Oleg Cassini coordinates. Save on sheets, shower curtains. Save on comforters, bedspreads, blankets, towels, bath mats, on curtains and draperies for your home or theirs. The pre-holiday home sale at JCPenney.
A month ago, I made one of the smartest buys on the market. By planning ahead, I saved 40% off the original price. And I invested in something that'll take me a long way. I bought a United Airlines Super Saver ticket.
United saves you 40% by day and 50% by night to more of this land than anyone. We built the largest airline in the free world.
You want to make a smart investment? Invest in United Super Saver.
Well, I used to go to the drive-in, order colas and forget to drink my milk.
He forgot to drink his milk.
Till one day when all the guys were looking at Betty Lou, I took a sip of blue. He drinks his milk.
Sip, 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 sip.
Take a sip if you're hip. You will leave it on your lip. Drink your milk.
Sip, 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 sip.
Drink your milk.
You're watching KING TV, Seattle.
Jim Zorn, he makes things happen. He's thrown more passes per game than any quarterback in the American Football Conference. This is a long one on him, isn't it? Zorn's off to Sherman Smith. He has a load today. Sherman Smith right in there. And here we are, ready to go with a team that is third in the National Football League, third in total yards gained. A very exciting young Seattle Seahawks going against the Chicago Bears having problems. Walter Payton. What's wrong with Walter Payton? Not much. He's leading the National Football Conference in rushing. Payton may wind up and have a big year during the latter stretch. And, of course, he has a teammate that's an all-purpose back. Roland Harper, a fullback. Look at that catch. He can run the ball, and he can catch the ball. Roland Harper. We have a sunny day here, but it's very windy. And the weatherman says that it could get colder. In fact, we might have rain later in the afternoon. A sellout crowd at Soldier Field, Chicago, to watch this interconference matchup. Hello, everybody. I'm Kurt Gowdy, along with John Brody. Well, the Seahawks are only in their third year of existence. No matter what happens the rest of the way, they're going to win some more games, and they're on their way to another successful season, considering the youth of the organization. The Chicago Bears, it's another story. They made the playoffs for the first time in 14 years last year. They won their first 3 games this year, and now they have fallen on bad times. They've lost 6 in a row. And if they lose another game or 2, they're definitely out of any hopes for the playoffs. They're getting heat from the media here and a lot of disappointed feelings from their fans. John Brody, let's take a look right now at the Seattle Seahawks. There's no doubt whether they win or lose, they're an exciting club to watch play. They score points. They do things on the field.
To me, last week proved to Seattle that they can play with anybody. They played Denver to a standstill. Jim Zorn did not have a good day. They're not dependent totally on Jim Zorn for them to win. I am very impressed with Seattle. They've got a lot of good football players. They don't have the all-pro type people that might put them over the hump, but they're still in very good contention to get into a playoff spot.
Well, the Bears are another story. I was just down talking to Jim Finks, the general manager, and he says, now's the time you find out who your friends are.
That's true. You know, I think offense is Chicago's problem. It's been so for a long time. There's three ingredients needed to be a good offense. You either have good supporting cast, the players around you, you have to have a good quarterback, and then you have to have a good structure, because there's no sport where the players are the effect of the coaching structure like football. To me, they've got good players. They've got a good quarterback. They haven't replaced him. He's played well even though they've lost. I do not think that they have a good coaching structure. I do not think these guys are doing the things they have to do to win. Anybody can score over 20 points on one game during the season. They haven't done that. And I think unless they change the way they attack people, it's going to be another long year for Chicago offensively.
NFL 78 will continue right after this message.
Once upon a time, Goldilocks went looking for a sleep sofa that was comfortable both day and night. And everyone she saw was just right. The right color, the right style. Because everyone was a lazy sleeper by Lazy Boy, with quality and comfort, so each one was just right. And she lived happily ever after. The Lazy Boy Lazy Sleeper for the rest of your life.
Oldsmobile believes the right way to engineer a family car is to begin with the family. So Delta 88 has the trunk space and the interior room you want, with the comfort your family needs.
Maybe I'll drive.
Delta 88 is a great road car everybody wants to drive.
I'm driving.
Oh.
Till we get to the highway.
Isn't it time your family moved up to an Oldsmobile? Delta 88. Have one built for you.
It's bad enough I got a dent in my kitchen. Now I gotta face the insurance hassle.
You don't with the good hands people. We take the hassle out of claims.
Sure you do.
Allstate people treat you right.
I hear you had a little problem with your camper. It was a tree.
And we settle most damage claims on the spot.
This'll fix it.
Do we take the hassle out of claims? You bet we do.
My kind of people.
When there's a way to take the hassle out of claims, Allstate will do it.
And that's a promise from us, the good hands people.
Budget Rent-A-Car is the fastest-growing major car rental company in the world. Maybe it's their great rate.
I hear the reservation system is really fast.
They do seem to have locations wherever you need them. Like right over there.
Well, if there's one there, what are we doing here?
Get to know Budget, and you'll know what we're doing to make us the fastest-growing major car rental company in the world.
For reservations, see your travel consultant or call our toll-free number.
The race for the 1980 Olympics has already begun. The games in Moscow are just the last lap of a long, grueling race that's going on right now. We've got the talent, but we need your support. Because America doesn't send athletes to the Olympics, Americans do. Don't let our team get caught short. Send a contribution to U.S. Olympic Committee, Box 1980C, Cathedral Station, Boston. For $25 or more, you'll receive this gold-plated medallion. This message furnished by the U.S. Olympic Committee and NBC.
That's it for NFL 78. The executive producer of NFL 78 is Don Omeyer. Today's show was produced by Don McGuire, directed by Bob Levy, technical director Sal Nagita, associate director Mary Buda. Coming up next.
Sports presents the best of the National Football League, the American Football Conference. Brought to you by Schlitz. Beer makes it good. Schlitz makes it great. By Chrysler Plymouth, who invite you to see and compare Plymouth Volare, the solid, substantial midsize for $79. And by Mobil, your detergent gasoline.
The Chicago Bears have won the toss. They'll be in the dark jerseys, and they're going to receive on your left. On the right, the Seattle Seahawks in white will kick off with the wind. That's the Bears squad, and their coach, Neil Armstrong, gathering his squad around him. I'm Kurt Gowdy with John Brody. There's Jack Patera, the Seattle Seahawk coach, and he's still unhappy about that overtime loss last week when the Seahawks made a tremendous goal line stand against Denver. Jim Turner missed a field goal, but there was a 12th man on the field. Turner got another shot at a short one, kicked it, and it was all over. Seattle will be kicking off. Efren Herrera will do the booting, and we'll wait for the Bears to spread out. The Bears have wide receiver problems. They've been injured in that department, and Seattle has running back injury. Joe Skabinski, number 30, and Gaines, 36. Here are the running backs.
Sherman Smith, in my opinion, one of the all-purpose, top-notch running backs in the game. He's got another friend today, a man named Benjamin. Tony has not played a football game, has not carried the ball in 2 years. Because of injury, he'll be doing a yeoman's share of the work today, primarily as a blocker. Al Hunter will be doing some running, and we'll just have to wait and see what takes shape.
Herrera with the wind blowing, and it may get stiffer. Now the deep men for the Chicago Bears. Art Vest is on one side, Skabinski's on the near side, and in the middle will be Gaines, Winford Gaines. You'll be seeing a lot of him at cornerback today, too. Got speed. Here's the kick. Gaines is waiting for the ball in the end zone. He's going to run it out. He's to the 10, 15, 20, and he's up just short of the 25-yard line. And he's hit there by Brian Peach, number 88, who went downfield. A young tight end for Seattle. Bob Avellini will be the quarterback, number 7. Roland Harper at fullback, 35. Walter Payton, 34, is the other running back. Fashionable starts in place of the injured James Scott today, 89. Golden Richards is on the other side, and he's gimpy, and the tight end is Greg Latta, number 88. 25-yard line of the Bears, first down. They've not done well on first down plays this year. Out to Payton. Payton trying to escape, and he's banged down on his 26-yard line. He's hit there by number 66, Bill Sandifer. The offensive line, John.
Well, for the Bears, you sit and you look at the people and you say, these guys have to score a lot of points no matter who we have carrying the ball. Then you look at their ball carrier, Walter Payton, Roland Harper. I mean, Ted Albrecht, Noah Jackson, Dan Neal's a fine center. Reeve Sorey's the guy that gets all the credit. Dennis Lick, his sidekick, has to be every bit as good.
Second down, 9. Bears under 26. Avellini again to the air. Out it goes. It's completed. Payton gets away from one man and may have the first down. It's across the 35. Sammy Green, left linebacker, drove him out.
I hope, Kurt, that this is an indication of the way Chicago is going to attack Seattle. Put the ball in the air, see what happens, throw enough around, some might stick, get the ball to Walter Payton where he can do something with it. They haven't done that much all year, and they haven't been very effective.
Seattle's defensive line, they play a 4-man front. Price, Boyd, Sandifer, Gregory. Gregory had an exceptional game against Denver last Sunday with 3 sacks. First down, the Bears on their 37. No score early in the game. That's Harper. Harper tearing through tacklers as a first down. Hard running by Roland Harper. John Harris, the free safety, had to bring him down.
Not much a good back has to do but run when you get this kind of surge from your offensive line. Dan Neal clears it out in the middle. That creates good running holes. Dennis Lick holds his tackle off. Roland Harper can always get you the 8, 9, 10 yards you need if you give him that kind of a hole.
He's 8th in the conference right now in rushing, and he scored 6 touchdowns. This is what they call their East formation. They're trying to get players in motion before the snap. Walter Payton on a power sweep. Payton is hauled down in Seattle territory on the Seattle 48-yard line. Ernie Price chasing him across the field. Audrey Beeman was in there on the play. Those are the linebackers. Green, Beeson, that's a rookie. Butler on the right side.
Keith Butler, second draft choice out of Memphis State. They have unbelievable talent at Memphis State for some reason. They picked Keith Simpson first. Then they've got a guy like Butler, who's a linebacker second. They've got a guy at Green Bay named Tredell Middleton, who isn't too bad. He was playing there too.
Webster, Brown, Beeman, and Harris in the secondary. Second down, 7 for the Bears. Straight drop back. Lots of time. Now he doesn't know what to do now. Look at him get ready. Finally stopped him.
That's what I'm talking about, Kurt, when I'm talking about structure. Bob Avellini did everything a quarterback can do to get himself out of trouble, make a bad play into a good one. However, there was no receiver who was able to shake one of the defensive secondary people. There was nobody coming into an area that he could hit. It was like a poor duck sitting there waiting to get slaughtered. Now, here's Ernie Price. He's one good reason that Seattle has been pretty good defensively over the last 3 weeks. He and Bill Gregory work very well. Give him a little surge up front. They'll put some pressure on that passer. Sandifer comes in and puts the finishing touches on Avellini.
Third down and 15. Bears on their 44-yard line. Draw play. Harper won't get the yardage. He's short. He stopped on the 47 of the Bears.
Good point right here. I can remember asking Stabler what he thought about throwing 7 interceptions in a game. He said if I had 20 minutes left in the game, I'd have thrown 15. But when it's 3rd and 15, I'm going to go back and fire it. That's a give-up job. When you run a draw play on 3rd down and 15 yards in the middle of the field, you're not doing what you need to do.
The biggest punter in the NFL, Bob Parsons, weighs 235 pounds. Penn State, he'll do the kicking. Rufus Crawford is the safety man. Rookie handles it on his 16 to the 20 to the 25. And a neat run back. He just went as far as he could in a straight line till he's brought down by Mike Spivey. Before Seattle goes to the attack, we're going to take time out here in Soldier Field with a score, Chicago nothing and the Seattle Seahawks nothing.
Do you know me? When I travel with my cats, people recognize me. But without them, they don't. So I carry the American Express card. Now airlines and shops in Germany and France all over recognize me as someone deserving first-class treatment. And believe me, it's easier to carry this than this.
To apply for a card, look for this display wherever the card is welcomed.
The American Express card, don't leave home without it.
Cast iron where you need it for strength and accuracy. Hardened gears and ball-bearing construction for long life and dependability. Heavy-duty motors with power to spare. Rockwell builds tools that way for a reason. Because a power tool is only as good as the job it can do and just how long it can do it. Rockwell, your work can't afford anything less.
Seattle will have Jim Zorn, number 10, at quarterback, with Sherm Smith, Tony Benjamin as the running back. Benjamin, a second-year man from Duke, pressed into action. Don Testerman is injured. Al Hunter may see some action. And Sims is out for the second week in a row for the Seahawks. Secret of Zorn is what Denver did to him last week. You have to contain him. That's Sherman Smith. Smith's out to the 35 of Seattle, where he meets Gary Campbell, the right linebacker. 5-yard advance, second down, 5. There are the receivers, McCullum and Largent. They'll be alternating with Ferguson and Rabel. Ferguson's already come in, and Ron Howard is the tight end, 87. Second and 5 for Seattle. No score, 10:45 to play in the first period.
267.
Another handoff. Notice how Zorn retreats deep in the backfield on his handoffs. They like that play.
Something to do when you can afford to do it. It's a slow developing play. You're running off the block of your offensive lineman. And when we start talking about offensive lines, this group is a no-name offensive line, but they're not going to be for long. John Yarno and Tom Lynch could possibly be the best left guard center combination in the game.
Al Hunter has moved in to replace Tony Benjamin. Hunter will be number 24. Third down and a yard to go. And that's diving with the ball is Al Hunter, ex of Notre Dame, picked up in the supplemental draft last year. Jim Osborne, Brad Shear on the tackle. First down for the Seahawks. Ball will be on their 41-yard line. Now that's the Chicago defensive line. They also play a four-man front, but they can do anything. They can do a 5-2 or a 3-4. Hart, Osborne, Page. Up front with Hartenstein, Buffon, Hicks, and Campbell, the linebacker. Benjamin's back in at fullback. 41-yard line of Seattle. Their ball, first down. Lawrence first pass. Quick out pattern to McCullum. McCullum dances out on his 47-yard line, driven out by the right cornerback, Virgil Livers.
And that's what you call taking what they give you. They just picked on their best defensive cover in Virgil Livers. He's one of those guys that you don't find very often. Two real hitters playing free safety and strong safety, and Fensick and flank. Terry Schmidt is the man who has exposed a little bit in front of himself. He's been a good cover on occasion, but he hasn't developed a reputation. And I would expect Seattle to pick on him during the day.
All right, John, second down, 3. Seahawks on their 48. Largent in motion. That's Sherman Smith. Sherman Smith at the 50, just nudging over. Close to the first down. Mike Hartenstein took him, aided by the middle linebacker, Tom Hicks of Illinois. They're short by a foot. So Benjamin goes out. Hunter replaces him on a third down situation as Neil Armstrong talks with his quarterback, Bob Abellini. Seattle's ball on the 50-yard line. Third down and a foot to go. No score. 8:38 remaining in the first period. They give it to Hunter to try for that first down, and again he appears to have it.
Just real good offensive surge, Kurt. They've run left quite a bit. They've run right twice during this drive. They've got a very well-balanced offensive line. When you get in a short yardage situation, it's the offensive linemen that make a short yardage situation work. Theirs have picked up several third down situations during the year. You can see good offensive surge. They've got their second in a row.
Seattle's ball. First down on the Bear 48. And the Bears have a nickel defense in there. 5 secondary backs looking for a pass. Zorn runs the ball. He gives it off to Smith, and look at him go. Sherman Smith, Miami of Ohio, former quarterback.
What do? You see a guy like Zorn create so many opportunities. We see Sherman Smith looking up like he's got a little limp. Now, if he comes off, they're hurt, and I don't think he will. But a guy like Zorn gets the linebackers cautious. If you do that with a good surge out of your offensive line, you give your running backs an opportunity to break at the line of scrimmage and pick up yardage. You'll see that sprint draw all day long, and they should be effective with it.
He picked up 8 yards on first down. Second down, 2. Not much on that one. That's Tony Benjamin carrying. Buffalo 3, New England nothing. First quarter on a 21-yard field goal by Dempsey. Now they look to the far side of those yard markers. And here's a penalty coming up against Seattle. It's our first penalty of the game.
Illegal motion. Right side. Second down.
Matt Haggerty says on the right side. Moves the ball back to the 45 of the Bears. That makes it second down. 7. When Gaines starts out, they come back off the field. They finally get Gaines in there. Largent goes out in motion. 5 secondary backs in the field for the Bears. 2nd and 7. Sherman Smith at the 40. He has a first down. We are having the mechanical problems here in our transmission from Soldier Field, Chicago. We apologize, and we're making every effort to clear it up for you just as soon as possible.
And the Bears are having a few problems of their own. They're inserting defensive linemen just before the snap of the ball. That just shows total disorganization. There is no way they collectively could have understood one defense when they went out there. 3 people were replacing 3 others just before the snap of the ball, and that just isn't the way you get it done.
Al Zorn's going to pass it. Out it goes to the flat to Benjamin. Good catch there. That ball was rifled to him. He took it over his shoulders, you saw. Then he was brought down by the left cornerback, Terry Schmidt. So Zorn, and down is Schmidt on the field. Zorn is really mixing them up, jabbing left with a right cross. He's doing everything.
Well, I don't know how to relate it in boxing terms, but it's very simple. It's what you expect Jim Zorn to do. They're going to be effective. When you have a group that gives you an opportunity to throw the ball, run a draw, he can run an effective draw on first down because he's willing to throw the ball on first down. That time he hits a Benjamin at just the right time. He was his primary receiver. Sometimes backs are, you know. He's left all alone. I don't know how badly hurt Terry Schmidt is. I hope he's all right, but when you give a running back a chance to have a go at a defensive back, it's tough.
Neil Armstrong, a former All-American at Oklahoma State, an unusual role there. He played with a All-American running back, Bob Fenimore, remember him? But Armstrong played in and called the offensive signal. He called the plays. Coming out is Schmidt, going in is Winford Gaines, number 36. By the way, Jim Zorn, he's 81 net yards passing to reach an even 2,000 for the season. That's not bad for a fellow who was never drafted, who came into the league as a free agent. Jim Hart of the St. Louis Cardinals is another quarterback who made it as a free agent.
You know, it's not bad, particularly when he's got 7 games left in the regular season. He's very liable, if he gets hot during the end of the year, get to 3,500, 3,600. He may break all kinds of records.
The ball's on the 26 of the Bears. They have second down and a foot to go. They're in the I formation. That's Al Hunter. Hunter had quick acceleration. He hit that hole early, and bang, he was through for a first down. Doug Buffone and Tom Hicks teamed up to stopping the linebacker.
And the key factor is that there was a hole. You can hit it, but if there's nothing there, you don't make much. Take a look. You see the way they do it. Old Fig Newton, he takes Buffone out of the play. He made the tackle, but he made it 8 yards down the field, and that's not what you call good defense.
Story on Terry Schmidt. He has bruised ribs. They do not know whether he'll be back or not. First down, Seattle on the 19 of the Bears. Al Hunter trying to cut back, and he's nailed by Tom Hicks. Clean tackle, number 54, right around the ankle. That's the best tackle the Bears have made. Schmidt will be back now, is a report from the Chicago bench. He had a helmet and a rib. Those helmets have caused lots of problems.
Particularly when they're in action.
Second down, 9 to go for the Seahawks on the Bears 18. Doug Buffone is out, and Bruce Herron replaces him. Herron has more speed. They're trying to get all the quickness they can. The Seahawks have had a drive of 11 plays. They're eating up this clock. Fumble by Zorn, he keeps it, and is hit behind the line of scrimmage. He is down there by Alan Page. Page nipped him around the ankle. New Orleans and Pittsburgh. Gorilla kicked a 27-yard field goal.
You know, Kurt, you see Zorn fall down. I think he was so anxious to execute the play. They only had 10 people on the field defensively, and when they're substituting in and out, play by play, they're leaving themselves a bit vulnerable. They're giving away the defense before the snap of the ball. I think Zorn got a little anxious and just fell.
3rd and 13, the first time the Seahawks have had a long situation on 2nd or 3rd down. Zorn will scramble out of here. 20, 15, 10. Boy, he can go. He loves that play. He's hurt. As he came out of the pocket, ran right down the middle. That wasn't a draw play, a deliberate draw. He just ran out of there.
Well, he got a pretty good lick from Winford Gaines, who is the 5th back playing out from the right side. You see, the linebackers are man-to-man on backs coming out of the backfield. Well, Zorn knows they're both covered. He looks up the field, sees nothing but room, gets the first down, is smart enough to fall down, say, okay, let's go back to the huddle. Gaines has to do something to make sure he stays there. And that kind of smarts.
First down, goal to go. Zorn's all right back in that huddle. 7-0, Cardinals over the Giants. Hart to Chandler, 5 yards, first period. Goal to go. Quite a march here by the Seattle Seahawks. Zorn the pitch to Smith. Smith is out on the 1-yard line, maybe the half-yard line. And he's showing you he can go inside, and when he gets the edge, then take it outside, too.
Well, that time, this play was stopped. By design, it was stopped. A little option play. They're trying to get a situation where Smith is man-to-man. Buckenstern makes a pretty good play, gets a hand on Smith, then he makes it all on his own. You see Livers make a last-ditch effort to get him, but they've got it down to the 1-foot line.
We have a timeout. And here in Soldier Field, Chicago, it is 0-0.
Oh, the things people do to decide between two TV shows they want to watch. Well, now you don't have to decide anymore, because with Sony's Betamax video recorder, you can actually watch a show on one channel while you're videotaping a show on another channel. That way, you get to see both of dreaming up new ways of deciding.
Okay, first one to the TV set chooses.
We're not exactly alike. I'm wearing JCPenney Plain Pockets jeans, and I'm wearing the world's best-selling jeans. My jeans are made of tough, heavy denim with good looks and great styling. And mine have this fancy stitching on the back pocket. But Plain Pockets only cost you $10. JCPenney Plain Pockets. The big difference between us and them is the pocket and the price. I'll buy lunch.
The game-breaking plays, the hottest new craze, all pros in action, the latest in fashion, straight-talking views and late-breaking news, the pregame show that has it all, NFL 78.
Tommy Hicks being taken to the Chicago bench. Appears to be a leg injury, knee, something. He was limping badly. All right, the Seahawks are just short of that Chicago goal line. This is a dream drive that the Seahawks have had. This is their 15th play coming up on this drive that started on their 30-yard line. Second down and a foot to go for a touchdown. Rabel in motion. German Smith is over for the score, and the Seahawks have scored first here in Chicago.
It's just the way you draw it up, Kurt. There was one play in which they had to exert themselves, that being a 3rd and 15 after a penalty. Zorn found a hole, kept the drive alive, and there was no other time during the entire drive where it didn't just appear that they were going down and score. When a team gets together the way Seattle has throughout this whole year, you just kind of expect a lot from them, and they haven't disappointed any of their fans.
Efrain Herrera for the point. He's hit 22 out of 25 extra points this year. That one's good. And so Seattle, with 2:59 remaining in the first period, has the lead. The score, the Seattle Seahawks 7, Chicago Bears nothing.
From South Carolina to North Dakota, they know what makes a state fair a great fair.
Beer makes it good.
There's just one Schlitz.
There's no debate.
Nothing else comes near.
Beer makes it good.
When you're out of Schlitz.
Schlitz makes it great.
You're out of beer.
11 million times a day, America reaches for a Schlitz. Every drop chill lagered for quality since 1849.
Schlitz makes it like no other good. Schlitz makes it great.
You should have used Mobile One, dummy. The oil, saves you gas.
You could have gone up to 10 extra miles, darling.
On every tank full of gas, my son.
Mobile One reduces friction so well it can take the average car up to 10 extra miles per tank full.
Hey, man, what's holding everything up?
Some dummy ran out of gas. Didn't use Mobile One.
The oil that saves you gas also saves you oil changes.
Saving the smallest of all human lives. The job of Dr. Joanne Hodgman on Lifeline, tonight on NBC.
There's a scoring drive. Coaches like drives of at least 10 to 12 plays. Look at the elapsed time on that drive. They used over 8 minutes. That's the best defense in the world.
Well, that's what you call doing it just the way you'd like.
Winford Gaines will be deep now for Herrera's kickoff. That was a Miami old Larry Sonka type drive that they used to execute in their undefeated season. This is coming to Gaines, and he's going to run it out. And he's in early trouble down there. He made a mistake. He should have downed it in the end zone for a touchback. Terry Justin went down to tackle him, and now the Bears are inside their 20, and the kickoff team, that's their goal, to try and retain the other club inside the 20. You're looking at Neil Armstrong, Chicago Bears coach, as they're playing the Seattle Seahawks. This is Kurt Gowdy, John Brody. We're 2:47 to go in the first period. Seattle has just driven 70 yards for a touchdown, and they're ahead 7-0. The Bears ball on their own 12. They're going against the wind. Harper ganged up on, and they gave it off to Payton on a fake to Harper. Payton. Excellent fake, a real acting job by Roland Harper. That's what makes the fake, the acting job, the ball handling by the quarterback and the acting job by the running back.
Yeah, you're right, except that no matter how good a quarterback fakes to another back, if there's no hole, it does him no good. I mean, everyone can execute, but if you don't push people off the line of scrimmage, all that faking goes for naught. They've got a 2nd and 7. That's not your ideal situation.
And a slot left formation. Right ahead they go again. Short yardage. Dennis Boyd, Bill Sandefur, the 2 tackles on that play. Harper, here's another score for you. The 49ers lead on a Worshing field goal, 20 yards, lead Atlanta 3-0. 4:12 to go in the first period. Line of Chicago. 3rd and 4. Unless they make it this time, they'll have to punt against the wind. Avellini wants to throw. Out it goes. Way wide of the receiver, James Scott, who just came in. And now they're hearing the hometown boos from disgruntled Chicago fans.
I got to side with the fans. I can remember playing, and I'd get in a situation where I was confused. I almost wanted to boo myself. And I know that the whole offense for Chicago right now feels very frustrated.
Bob Parsons the punt. Rufus Crawford, a rookie of Virginia State, is deep. He's on his 42-yard line. And the kick is shanked. And it takes a Seattle bounce. Seattle has the ball on the Chicago 34. The Bears are off to a horrible start here. At home, 17-yard punt from scrimmage. Timeout on the field with the score. Seattle 7, Chicago 0.
Fairmont, Valari? I like them both.
I really haven't decided yet.
Valari and Fairmont.
They both seem like good cars.
Introducing the Valari Fairmont choice for 1979. Statistics show that this car, the 1979 Plymouth Valari, will be compared against Ford Fairmont many thousands of times in the coming months. That makes sense because in many ways they're very comparable cars. The EPA classifies each of them as a midsize. The EPA estimates that with 6-cylinder engines, their mileage is about the same. But look at these differences in Valari's favor. Valari 4-door seats 6, Fairmont 5. Valari has a longer wheelbase, wider track, and greater curb weight. We think Valari is more car, but surprisingly, when you equip both cars with 6-cylinder engines and automatic transmissions, sticker price is about the same. You're looking for mileage and a solid, substantial car. That's Valari.
That's imagination. That's clever.
Jim Zorn has thrown only 2 passes in this game. He's thrown more passes than any other quarterback in the American Conference coming into this weekend. He's averaged 27 passes a game. But so far, the Seahawks have run the ball well against the Bears defense. First down, Seattle, Chicago's 34. There's a keeper. Flag is down. The toss complete. Largent, he's out of bounds. And we had a flag drop while the play was unfolding. That time, Zorn faked it on that give off to Smith. It's been so effective.
It's the same sprint draw. You have an effective play, you can do 3 or 4 things off of it. Now it looks as if they'll probably get holding, offensive holding. 20 yards is no big thing for Seattle to pick up. It looks like it's just a run-of-the-mill trip. I've been talking about their offense. I think you have to give credit sometimes to those who structure it. Howard Mudd is the offensive line coach. Andy McDonald's the guy that handles the backs. Jerry Rome is upstairs calling the plays. I know from having been a quarterback that when you've got a quarterback upstairs that sees things the same way you do, and you're both in sync, it really makes things easy. And I would like to give credit to those three guys because I think they're doing one whale of a job.
All right, John. 1st and 20. The Seahawks on the Chicago 44. They've just had a first down wiped out with that holding penalty. Seattle leading 7-0. And they had motion that time. Now they're hurting themselves with consecutive penalties. This will be 1st and 25 to go. Hicks is out. Tom Hicks has injured his left knee, the starting middle linebacker of the Bears.
For 63, offense.
He will not return. Don Reeves, 57, is in there as middle linebacker, and Jack Patera doesn't like those penalties. Of course, those figures, if you saw Tom Landry's won and loss percentage after 5 years in the 60s, you say, what a coaching record. But with an expansion team, you're starting from nothing. All right, Zorn, the 5 secondary backs in the field. They sack him. And now they're back to the 41-yard line of Seattle. That's the first sack by Chicago in the game. Alan Page got to him, 82, and Brad Shearer, the rookie of Texas.
That's the best Chicago's moved the ball so far in the first quarter, and they don't own it. I don't know how many yards you can pick up defensively, but they're putting it to the test.
Well, they now have 2nd down and 35 yards to go. 2nd and 35. A 3-man line, 4 backers. Dorn tossing a ball over the head of his intended receiver, Sam McCullum, who was open. Zorn was a little high last week, John, out in Seattle.
He did not have a good day. Jim Zorn has not thrown the ball as effectively even today. Of course, he hasn't tried it that often, but he had Sam McCullum wide open. This is what gives you so many different things to do. When a guy's got good speed, can fire the ball on the run. That one happened to be a little high, but he got Virgil Livers turned around. McCullum was open. What I like is the fact he's not sitting there saying, let's wait to punt. Let's have a go at it, see what we hit.
We understand you're getting some strange pictures on your screen. We're trying to correct a technical problem, and we apologize. 3rd and 35. Not your set. Some kind of technical difficulty. There's a pass right on the button to Rabel. Rabel can't hold on to it. Steve Rabel of Georgia Tech, and Seattle will have to punt. Well, this may spur the Bears up a little bit now as their defense checks Seattle after Seattle had that first down.
I think Seattle stopped themselves. Twice they had receivers open. This time Zorn had Rabel so far open, he just kind of pulled the string, left it hanging up there. Rabel doesn't come down with it. Even had he done so, they'd have been short of the first down.
Virgil Livers is going to be the safety man.
It's a little tough when you don't hang on.
And Herman Weaver is the punter. He's averaged 39 yards a kick. 9-year veteran out of Tennessee. Kicking with a win. A wobbly boot. Livers is chased back to the 11. 15, finds a hole. It just tripped up there. And he's hit there by number 68, Dennis Boyd. An excellent play downfield by Boyd, who is the starting tackle on defense.
Tell you, those punt returners are a rare breed. You see a Virgil Livers get the ball and just takes a shot. If there's a hole, fine. If there isn't, he just sucks it up.
24 seconds remaining in the first period. The Seahawks ahead 7-0. That was a punt of 48, a run back of 13. Avellini has a lone setback behind him. That's Harper. Harper's dragged down. Well, he was into the line of scrimmage, and he made that yard all by himself after he was hit by 2 men. Sandifer let him slip through his grasp, They had to nip him from behind at the 30-yard line. From the 24. A gain of 6. Second down, 4. Gun sounds. That's the end of the first quarter. We'll be back for the second quarter of today's game with a score of Seattle 7, Chicago nothing, after these messages from your local station.
You're watching KING-TV, Seattle.
Kurt Gowdy and John Brody, second period. Soldier Field, Chicago. Seattle ahead 7-0. Had a 70-yard drive. Herm Smith plunged over for the touchdown. There are the statistics of the first half, all in favor of Seattle. Here's this East formation, they call it. 2 or 3 players going in motion just before the snap and then stopping. That's Walter Payton. Payton had a hole. That was plugged up. I thought he was really going someplace that time. He was hit by John Harris, the free safety, and Bill Gregory.
When you're in this type of defense, and they were coming, the free safety has a hole to fill. The hole was pretty big this time. Harris filled it about as well as could be expected. Got some help from Bill Gregory, and they both pulled Payton down. After a gain of about 3 or 4, very close to a first down. We'll just have to wait and see.
In this Bears' new offense, which Neil Armstrong calls the East formation, you're noticing people moving just before the ball snap. Then coming to the spot. First down. Running back Payton, Harper, tight end Latta have moved once, twice, sometimes 3 times. They may only move a step. The idea is to sort of confuse the defense. Looks like a disco out there, John.
Well, to me, I don't care how you move before the snap. It's how you move after the snap. And that's what they're not doing as well as they need to be.
Bears ball on their 34 with a first down. And now they've just inserted Robin Earl as his running back. That's the second time he's carried the ball this year, number 39, Robin Earl.
Kerry Beeson, here's a kid they got in the Dallas deal. When Tony Dorsett went to Dallas, Seattle likes the fact they've got a Beeson. He's a real tough kid, excellent against the run, not great mobility, but I think he kind of typifies the whole Seattle defense. He's doing the best with what he's got, and that's good enough to get them over the hump.
Lionel Antwine's in at left tackle, replacing Ted Albrecht for the Bears. Second down, 7 for Chicago. Avellini over to the far side. He has his tight end. Latta's out of bounds over there, juggling the ball around as he went out. Cornell Webster jamming against the sideline.
Those are the little things that happen, Kurt. You're not sure you're going to get the ball when the ball does come to you. You've carried your pattern just a little too far. Now you have a sideline problem. You juggle it just a bit. 6, 7 yards is the difference between winning a lot of football games and losing them. And when you take a look at their huddle, it's like it's not as organized as you would expect an outstanding offensive unit like they are personnel-wise to act in a huddle. I don't know if it's an indicator, but something's got to go right for them.
Third down, 7. From the Bears, 37. Here's a deep pass way down there. Over the head of the receiver, Latta. The big tight end can go deep. He was covered by John Harris. Well covered down the field. Nobody chucking or bumping him along the way. So it's 4th down, 7. The Bears will go into punt formation. And this time, Bob Parsons will have a breeze at his back and a fairly stiff breeze that has freshened to 10 or 12 miles an hour. Rufus Crawford is going back to receive the punt. 13:34 to play in the first half. There's an unusual stance. Look at Crawford. Just got that kick away. He has it. He bobbles the ball. He's up with it on the 13, the 20, and made disaster into a pretty fair return.
They made a good play because their up men, their cornerbacks, kept it down. The spread ends from getting down underneath the punt, allowed Crawford to get up with a good game.
All right, Seattle will have the ball when we come back, and the score remains Seattle 7, Chicago nothing.
You want to buy some radios, but tires all look the same. You've got to have good feelings. You've got to trust the name. No matter where you're going, remember what we said. When Sears is behind you, you come out ahead.
These are two of today's newest razors. The one on the right is the new Norelco rotary razor. This one has two blades, the new Norelco 36. This one pivots up and down. The new Norelco has 3 adjustable heads that float and a new shaving angle. Both give you a close shave, but there is one thing they offer that Norelco doesn't. Gotcha. The new Norelco rotary razor. Very close, but no gotcha.
Next Sunday, exciting regional coverage of the best of the NFL. Telecasts include the Broncos versus the Browns and the Oilers against the Patriots. Check local listings for the game in your area.
One of the surprises of this game to me is the running attack of Seattle. They've attempted only 3 passes in the game, and they lead the entire National Football League with 209 yards a game passing. The only other team to have more than 200 yards a game of passing, the Dallas Cowboys. Here's Zorn to Largent. Largent hangs on to it for a first down at the 47-yard line of Seattle.
How sweet that is. They come in with 3 wide receivers and a tight end. You know they have a problem with their running backs, but they complement it by utilizing their best people, getting down in between the secondary, gets behind the linebacker. Zorn, you see, has plenty of time. It's just like drill. You come out there and you execute that way, and everybody says, man, how sweet can it be?
Remember, at halftime, NFL 78 will update you what's happening around the NFL. Largent caught only 1 pass last week against Denver. He has just caught his 37th of the year. University of Tulsa. Al Hunter. Hunter with a flag down. Breaking over the 50. Just short of the Chicago 45, but a flag is down, and they may bring this one back. I think it's holding. They're talking to Doug Buffone, the Bears. He is the last link on this Bear team, player-wise, with George Halas. They just had a... Here, let's listen to this.
Yeah, holding, 51, offense.
They just had a dinner, John, or a luncheon dinner, I forget which, in Chicago for George Halas Sr., and they had 100 people at the head table, the dais.
Well, I'll tell you, Doug Buffone's been a real stable part of the Chicago team for a number of years. When I was playing, he was a very tough man to beat, and he hasn't changed much.
1st and 20 now. The Seahawks are at their 37-yard line. Dorn on a draw play off to Hunter. Hunter goes down on the 41-yard line, hit there by Gary Fensick. John Brody talked earlier about these 2 safety men. They're 2 of the hardest hitters in the league, Fensick and Plank, and you just got an example how Fensick could hit you.
Well, and you know, that can be a plus or it can be a minus. If you react a little too quickly, you can run a play action at them, throw behind them. However, they use pretty good discretion as to when they leave their position to hit at the line of scrimmage. They're both excellent backs.
2nd down, 16. Seahawks from their 41. Largent going out as the slot back. Dorn pass right on the money. That's Sam McCullum, ex of Montana State. McCullum hit by Winford Gaines and Doug Plank. And now Zorn's moving the club with his left arm.
Well, it's not too tough a deal. He's using a three offensive end set up with a tight end at the other side, making it a double wing. What does he do? He sends Largent underneath, taking the linebackers with him, and throws the ball to McCullum after the linebackers have been cleared out, and that's just good design.
1st down, Seattle on the Bears 41. 7-0 Seattle. A shade over 11 minutes remaining in the first half. Al Hunter. Hunter squirming to the 39-yard line of Chicago. It'll make it 2nd down 8. The tackle by Alan Page. We have a second period score. Danmeyer, field goal of 24 yards. Minnesota leads the Lions 3-0. And another one. Atlanta's come back. Bartowski running a 1-yard quarterback sneak to put Atlanta ahead of the 49ers 7-3. 2nd down, 8. He'll get out of there. He's at the 35 and he goes down. He's hitting the deck He's a young quarterback. He has a tremendous future ahead of him, and they're telling him to hit the deck when there's somebody there.
Well, he's just very smart. Sometimes it doesn't take you till you get old to get smart, because very possibly you won't get old. He's done it all. He's now an accomplished quarterback. His age has nothing to do with it. He does the right things at the right time, and he's very instrumental in how effective they are. And Dick Nolan has got those guys going in New Orleans. They just took the lead from Pittsburgh 7-3 in the second quarter with 6:36 left.
Third down, a foot to go, a five-man defensive front for the Bears, and Smith is stopped. Sherm Smith was really hit in there as the Bears got underneath that play. Brad Shearer, the left tackle. Dan Reeves, the middle linebacker.
We see a third down short. They're going to measure. However, it's pretty evident to me it was that they didn't make it. However, where they place it will be the determining factor. Rives got right in there, made an excellent play. Buffon made a good play. You stop a play at the line of scrimmage, you've done a good job.
Jack Patera will watch the measurement.
You see Efren Herrera is not even standing up to go in for a field goal. They're having to go at it on fourth down. They've done that throughout the season. They've been effective doing it, and I like it.
Plus, they have a win against them. Now, Rabel brings the play in. Tony Benjamin goes out. Rabel's a wide receiver. He came in and talked to Zorn. Al Hunter has replaced Tony Benjamin. Fourth down. Seattle on the Bears' 32-yard line. Fourth and about a half yard to go. That's Hunter, and he cut back, and I think he has it. He started out and then made a quick cut. Saw just a little glimmer of daylight there.
It looks like he's got it.
In the meantime, Benjamin returns to the backfield. McCullum and Largent, the two starting wide receivers, have come back in. Hunter's really been picking up those first downs today, John.
He's a pretty darn good runner. We mentioned earlier he'll be doing a large share of the running. Benjamin will be in there specifically to block. He's done his share. Sherman Smith is another one who does a good job of blocking. That time Hunter cuts back, finds a little crack, and picks up the first.
Seattle on the Chicago 30-yard line, first down. 7-0 Seattle, just under 9 minutes and a half. Zorn faking, bootlegging, throws on the run. Wide of the receiver, and that's Steve Largent, number 80.
Zorn has not been as effective rolling out, throwing the ball deep on his patterns as he would like to be. Last week he was unable to get outside the contain. This week he's having no trouble doing that. But his coordination with his pattern man, this time Steve Largent. You see Steve running down the field, coming back. The ball is already gone by Zorn. He got a little pressure, threw the ball before Largent could make his turn, and that's why it wasn't effective. However, these things are available.
Second down, 10. Seahawks just short of the Bear 30-yard line. Seahawks have had the ball most of the first half. They're in a slot left formation. 3 wide receivers on the field. Long signal count. He changed the cadence. He had Alan Page charging. Unless there's a legal procedure, it'll be offside Chicago.
Don't think defensive linemen don't get a beat on your cadence. And all quarterbacks fall into a pattern. That time Zorn was smart enough to realize somebody might be picking it up, gave it an extra count. Mr. Page got caught.
Encroachment, number 82, defense.
That's Alan Page. There he goes. He touched somebody trying to get back, but if you touch a member of the offensive line, it's encroachment. That's what Page is charged with. Ball's now on the 25-yard line of the Bears. It'll be second down, 5 to go. With the Seattle Seahawks out in front, 7-0. Midway in the second quarter. Off to Smith. Hey, that is great running by Sherm Smith.
You know, it's my opinion that he may be the best all-purpose running back in the game today. He's an excellent blocker. He's an excellent pass receiver. He's a fine running back wide. He can go inside. He seems to have excellent balance, takes advantage of the one block he got by Newton, comes back, cuts back against the grain, picks up 6 yards on his own, keeps Seattle's drive alive.
First down Seattle on the Bear 20. The Seahawks had a 70-yard drive, 15 plays in the first period. Now they have another one going. This started under 26. This is Al Hunter. Hunter on a cutback. Hunter's running beautifully today, too. He's been used sparingly this year. They're missing their leading touchdown man and ball carrier, Sims, who's out with an injury.
Good pulling, too, by the right side of the offensive line. Both Newton and August get outside, lay a good block. You see Sherman Smith leaving his feet, forcing everything outside, Hunter cutting inside. And these guys are really after it. It's a very important game for both clubs. I'm not sure Chicago's aware of it.
Second down, 2 to go. Benjamin's in the backfield. Sherman Smith. They get to him quickly that time. Somebody pawed him on the back and slowed him up. Reeves and Osborne were in on that tackle. It's on the 11-yard line of the Chicago Bears. Seattle in possession. Third down, a yard to go. So let's see what they uncork here. Jack Patera. Howard Mudd. He has the first down. He's picked up some very difficult yardage today. Let's watch him run behind John Yarno, the center.
John Yarno and Tom Lynch, both of them. You see on the right, you see Newton? They just make good offensive surge. They get people off the line of scrimmage. When you do that, your backs have no problem picking up that short yardage.
Sherman Smith now, John, has a little over 40 yards here in this first half of the ground. 11 carries for 41 yards. Look at those first downs. First and goal to go for the Seahawks on the 9-yard line of the Bears. Smith again at the 5. Tries to a fumble. Big pile-up. And it looks like the Bears have recovered. They do. Chicago recovered. Seattle was knocking right at their goal line.
That's hanging in there. They've been run over the top of. The score is still only 7-0. We've got 12 minutes left in the second quarter. That kind of a break when you're at home has got to stimulate something. Starting on their 1-yard line, this could be a turnaround for Chicago.
Livers recovers there. Watch this. There's the hit. The ball is popped loose. Reeves was a hitter, and Livers recovered the ball, just squirted away. We'll be back now. The Bears ball under 1 to score. Seattle 7 and Chicago nothing.
If this were your home, that delivery man could sue you for everything you've got. And if most of your liability coverage was on your car instead of your home, you'd be in big trouble. That's why Continental invented the PCP car and home policy. It gives the same high liability coverage on your car and your home. That's more protection for your money. And one more reason why nobody spells protection like the Continental insurance companies.
Hi there. I'd like to introduce you to a special new car. Take a look at this new Chrysler Newport, this new design. Now you can have the kind of room full-size cars have been known for. You can have new gas mileage you'll be happy to tell your friends about. Now you can have a Chrysler, all at a very down-to-earth price. Come up to the new Chrysler Newport, because now you can have it all. Now. Right now.
May I have your attention, please?
It's Walter Brennan and Walter Brennan in the hilarious conclusion of Walt Disney's The Gnome-Mobile, tonight on NBC.
Virgil Livers recovered that fumble. He was out 3 weeks, returned to action last week, and he just came up a recovery of the first turnover in the game. Look from behind Babalini. That's Robin Earl, the fullback. It gives him a little running room.
Good block at the point of attack by Dan Neal. Right on the man over his nose.
New England now has gone ahead of Buffalo in the second quarter, 7-3. A Horace Ivory 19-yard touchdown run. A second-year player from Oklahoma who's really coming on strong now for the Patriots. He's becoming their star running back. It's a big game in the Eastern Division. New England, a game ahead of the second-place Dolphins, will be playing Dallas today. Second down. Waller Payton driving for the first down. And he was finally slowed up by John Harris, the safety man.
When you take it out of your own end zone or down on the 1-yard line, it's your people that get you out of there. Here you have a good block by Robin Earl on the tackle, trying to come in and make the play. However, good hole at the point of attack. Give Walter Payton a crack. He'll make the most of it.
The Bears on their 14-yard line. First down. They're trailing 7-0. 5 minutes to go in the first half. Walter Payton. Payton was hit by the pursuing Ernie Price. Number 62 was one man in on a play. Autry Beeman came up to help, number 27. Coming up next, NFL 78 at halftime. 3-yard gain for Payton. Let's check Walter's figures. He has carried the ball 5 times, 21 yards. That's his average for the year, 4 yards to carry. Bang. Down on the 19-yard line is Payton, hit by Ernie Price. So they have 3rd and 5, John. Look at those 3rd down conversions. Excellent for Seattle.
Well, it's easy when you've got 3rd and a foot, 3rd and a yard. It's pretty tough when you've got 3rd and 6, and they've had that 3 times.
3rd. 5 to go. Avellini just shoots it out. And it's broken up. It was intended for Robin Earl. Ken Geddes, reserve linebacker, broke it up. As they inserted an extra linebacker in the lineup. Now the Bears will punt with a win. 4th and 5. Bob Parsons will do the kicking. You're looking now from the kicker's viewpoint. What a view, huh?
I hope he sees more than that.
There's the boot. Crawford on his 33, 35. Crawford to the 40, 45. Over the 50 into Bear territory. Goes down on the Bears' 49-yard line. And he's hit there by Winford Gaines, number 36. We'll be back here in Soldier Field, Chicago. The score remaining, Seattle 7, Chicago 0.
At Pioneer, we don't build a high-fidelity receiver the way some of our competitors do. Instead of a pressboard bottom, our SX780 has a metal one that limits interference. It has power meters and a DC power supply for richer bass. It's things like this that have made Pioneer #1 among people who care about music. And isn't that why you buy high-fidelity components? Because you care about music? Pioneer's SX780.
Welcome to our people-pleasing places.
Mr. Carlin, your briefcase.
Meet our people-pleasing faces.
Holiday Inn hotels are #1 in the world with the best standards.
Everything all right, sir?
Everything's just fine. People-pleasing standards to help make your trip successful.
Wherever you go in this whole big traveling world,
We want to make you comfortable.
Holiday Inn is #1 in people-pleasing.
The game-breaking plays, the hottest new craze, all pros in action, the latest in fashion, straight-talking views and late-breaking news. The pregame show that has it all, NFL 78.
Perfect day for sailing on Lake Michigan. Breeze about 10 or 15 miles an hour. We come off the lake and move back into Soldier Field, Chicago, where the Seahawks lead the Bears 7-0, 3:31 to go in the first half. This is Kurt Gowdy along with John Brody, Jim Zorn. First down. Sack. They got to him. That was Jim Osborne, the left tackle. First man in, aided by Jerry Myers, playing in place of the injured Tommy Hart now at left end.
They're going with that 3 wide receiver offense. It kind of tells the defensive lineman, hey, fellas, get in your starting blocks and get after the quarterback. They may run for a few yards with the one remaining back. They're not going to make a steady diet of it. We can get to the quarterback. We can make them change.
Zorn today has attempted 7 passes, completed 4 for 54 yards. He's the second leading rusher on the team. In this game, the third in the season for them. A multi-talented young quarterback. Again, they're to him and down him. Now the Bears fired up. Had Alan Page that time, number 82.
Good surge up the front. Jim Osborne made a good play coming around behind, forcing Jim Zorn up into the pocket. When you get good surge from all 4 of your defensive linemen, now you've got a good chance to trap a guy like a Zorn. You see Page gets there after Osborne has forced him up tight. That's good defensive line play.
Page has looked very agile today.
Page looks agile every day. If you've ever tried to handle him, when he was in his prime, they used to say he runs at 250, 255. I never did think he looked like he weighed over 230. I think he's an outstanding player. You can run at him, but that's about the only place you can be effective, and you need 2 people to handle him then.
Third down, 24 yards to go for Seattle. Now he's under the gun. He throws this one out. It's a screen to Smith. Smith at the 40. And Smith is chased out of bounds. The Seahawks have come up way short. Gary Campbell, the linebacker, drove him out, and you had a pressure front 4 that time by the Bears.
Well, give the front 4 credit. You know, they really made the whole defensive series. They forced Seattle to do things they didn't want to do. They caught them when they got them where they wanted to. Maybe that'll turn the feeling around, because something's got to.
Philadelphia leading Green Bay 7-3. The Bear fans love that. They're trying to catch Green Bay, the rest of the clubs in the Central Division of the NFC. Hunt formation. Herman Weaver. And the Bears will have the ball in Seattle territory. That's a 3-yard punt.
Yeah, that went out of bounds.
Look at his reaction after this punt.
I don't know if the wind had any effect. However, he's kicked 2 or 3 good ones prior to this. This is something a kicker on occasion does. Not a good deal, but that's what happened.
There's your score with a timeout.
From the Cape to the Gulf, they know how to cook up a good time.
Beer makes it good. There's no debate.
We got a gumbo eating contest over here.
Beer makes it good.
I'm telling you.
Schlitz makes it great.
11 million times a day, America reaches for a Schlitz.
Since 1849. There's no debate. When you're out of Schlitz, you're out of beer. Schlitz makes it great.
Thanks for the tour, fellas. Man, it's dark and dirty down in that mine. But Ken here drives home in the cleanest car you ever saw. And every time he fills it up with gas, he has an easy pouring bottle of STP gas treatment, because it gets in there and helps keep that carburetor clean. And that's the way this young man wants it. I take good care of what works hard for me. So for my car, it's STP.
I'm Lynn Swan of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I hope you'll do it the American way on Election Day. Go to the polls on Tuesday and vote for the candidate of your choice.
Preceding message brought to you the public service by the National Football League and NBC. About every game this season, the Bears have opened a series with a running play, and they've averaged only 3 yards on first down play. This time it's going to be a play-action pass. It's out to Latta, and a first down. They opened it up on first down that time. Autry Beeman had to hit him, but Latta is brought down.
You know, that's why I've always been kind of high on Avellini. He can do the execution. If the structure is there, if he goes and throws the ball on first down, second down, third down, all over the park, this guy's got a good arm, and I think it would ignite a little enthusiasm in the rest of the group.
We're going to pause briefly for station identification.
You're watching the Seahawks on KING TV, Seattle.
7, Chicago, nothing.
Duster's back.
And is it looking good?
Plymouth Duster is back, along with traditional Duster economy and new Duster excitement. Inside, great-looking new buckets, a terrific new exterior package, and the kind of fun Duster's been famous for. You can capture Duster in all of this excitement for a price that might be hard to believe. Hey, everybody, we're selling fun, and it's a real bargain.
That's imagination. That's Plymouth.
You can't buy my eye, you can't buy my technique, but you can buy my camera, the Olympus OM1.
You can't buy my instincts, but you can buy my camera, the Olympus OM1. A third smaller and lighter than those clumsy old single-lens reflexes.
In fact, more Olympus OM1s have been sold than any other compact SLR. It may be news to you, but the OM1 is #1.
I may not have their eye, but now I have their camera.
Next Sunday, exciting regional coverage of the best of the NFL. Telecasts include the Broncos versus the Browns and the Oilers against the Patriots. Check local listings for the game in your area.
There are 2 minutes to play in the first half, Soldier Field, Chicago. The Bears are moving it now. They're on the Seattle 33-yard line with a first down. Seattle's ahead 7-0. Yards rushing, the Seahawks. All the statistics, the battles have been won by the Seahawks so far. Avellini's 3 out of 7 for 29 yards. Avellini again. And it is complete to James Scott. He did a quick little ballet dance there to keep those feet in bounds.
James Scott ran a fine pattern. Bob Avellini, a play-action pass and a quick out to your wide receiver is one of the harder things to execute for a quarterback. You see the footwork. He gets himself on perfect balance, throws the ball just as Scott turns outside. I think they ought to do a lot more of it.
That second step was a little quickie, wasn't it? First down. They're on the 19-yard line. Here's a straight draw. Harper goes through, but you have a flag down. Penalty marker drop. Harper had a big hole and he shot through there. But a flag is down. Bears have had very few penalties today. Backfield in motion against Chicago. That'll bring that one back.
At the point of attack, there was no holding call, and they opened a big hole.
Illegal motion, left guard.
Noah Jackson, the left guard, is the man who moved. That's just the second penalty against the Bears for 10 yards. They have a first down 15 now from the 24-yard line of Seattle. Avellini to the sideline. Open there is Latta, the tight end. He's taken out of bounds on the 16-yard line by Sammy Green, the left linebacker, number 56.
He's mixing things up. He's doing the things that I think he does very well. You get somebody started, have a go at it, pal. He throws right on the break, gets Latta just as he turns outside. It's a pattern everybody can handle when you get the man open. If you try some things open up. That seems to be what this drive is about.
They're working these sidelines and stopping the clock. 1:44 to go in the first half.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our NFL 78 studios. Briefly, we'll bring you up to date on what the scores are right now. New Orleans against Pittsburgh. The Saints out in front in this one, 7-3. Franco Harris needs just 3 more yards to eclipse the 7,000 mark in his 7th year. Green Bay, Philadelphia, the Packers out in front, 7-3. That one in the second quarter. New England, Buffalo, the Patriots going for their 7th in a row, leading that one 7.
He came out just a little bit late. He wanted to get Jim Scott on a turn. As he did so, he saw it covered. When he went to Latta, it was just a little bit too late. So what? Have another go at it. He's throwing the ball to where he intends to throw it. You can see he's looking for Scott. By the time he comes off the Latta, Latta has already run himself out of room. Can't make the play with both feet inbounds. One foot, the other foot goes into the white zone.
Good call by the officials. Robin Earls, the running back now. And a timeout. Timeout with 1:37 remaining in the half. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Chicago Bears and the National Football League is prohibited. Now here's a situation when play is resumed The Bears will have the ball on the Seattle 16-yard line. They'll have a 3rd down and 7. NFL football next Sunday. NFL 78. Linda Jefferson, halfback. She's fast, she's smart, she's got great moves. She's tough. Linda Jefferson plays halfback for the Toledo Troopers of the National Women's Football League. She's pro football's men and women all-time scoring champ. Only 136 touchdowns. I have a profile of this superstar and women's pro football, plus a humorous story of what happened to the dear old NFL if the game went Metro. 1 o'clock games next week. Denver, Cleveland, Houston at New England, Miami, Buffalo, Jets at Philadelphia. 4 o'clock, Baltimore, Seattle, Kansas City at San Diego. Consult your local listings for the game and time in your area. This is a big play for the Bears coming up now with 1:37 to go in the half. 3rd down, 6. They have the ball on the Seattle 16-yard line. They have not converted a 3rd down situation yet into a 1st down. The rollout. That one. 2 Seattle men went into each other or they would have had an interception. John Harris was hit hard there by Autry Beeman. Harris is 44.
This was a play designed all the way to go to a crossing back. The man from the short side. You see Avellini by design rolls out trying to get Latta coming the same way that he is rolling. As he does so, Cornell Webster makes a fine play. Harris is in a great spot to pick it off. Too many guys doing a good job.
So it's 4th down. 6 to go with 1:30. And the field goal kicker's on now, Bob Thomas. He's been outstanding this year. He has an average of 92%. Baschnagel will hold the ball. 12 out of 13 he's kicked. This one is up, and this one is no good. It's to the right, but we have flags down. Penalty markers are down. That was a 33-yard attempt by Thomas.
That's what you call a false start. The ball wasn't handled cleanly by Baschnagel. As a result, Thomas never did get a good start.
We have offsetting fouls, and he'll get another chance.
This is what happens. He comes as soon as the ball hits Baschnagel's hands, he's coming. However, he was going to be there before Baschnagel had it down cleanly. A little stutter start. By that time, it's too late.
All right, he gets another chance.
This happened last week to the Seahawks. Same way.
Thomas, 11 out of 11 inside the 40-yard line. He has the best field goal percent in the NFL so far this season. Now they'll spot the ball on the 23, so he has a chance to keep going with an astounding 92% of successful field goal attempts. There's the spot. This kick is up, and this one is good. 13 out of 14 for Bob Thomas. And last week, we saw Jim Turner get a second chance in overtime when he missed a short field goal. Seattle had 12 men on the field, and they got another shot at it, made it, and that was the ball game. Well, Seattle giving up second chances on field goals, and it's costly to them.
Well, for this game to be 7-3, the way that Seattle has dominated throughout the first half, has to be a real plus for Chicago. A team is not going to play lethargically all the way through a ball game at home. They've started out a little bit hesitant. However, their last drive indicated they could move the ball offensively upstairs. I think when they come out in the second half, they'll be a new club. Seattle will have its hands full.
Al Hunter, 24, and Rufus Prophet, number 34, are back deep for the Seahawks. Bob Thomas will kick it off. Line drive boot. Crawford fields it on the 5. He's to the 20. 25 down on the 26-yard line. And covering that kickoff is Brad Shearer, the rookie of Texas, number 72. Young Zorn has 1:17 remaining in this half. Zorn has has scored 6 touchdowns himself running the ball this year. Thrown for over 50%. His least productive game last week against Denver when he had only 9 out of 29. Denver really defensed him with a very controlled, slow pass rush to try to keep him contained. Here's a screen to Sherm Smith. Breaks the tackle, goes up to the 30, 35, 40. Trying to get out of bounds. He can't do it. Smith has been breaking tackles all afternoon.
And when a team has a lot of faith in their offense, when there's 1:22 to go, even if they're in their own territory, they know they have time. Let's have a go at it. That time, a simple little delay play to Smith. Largent helped out. They made a big gain. Here they go.
First down, they had no timeout. They had the quick huddle. It's complete. McCullum's out of bounds. Now, right away, Zorn in 2 plays has moved them into the Bears' territory to the Bears' 46-yard line as Gaines drove Sam McCullum out. That stopped the clock with 45 seconds remaining. This is an exciting club to watch. Seahawks, they make mistakes. They're young. They need to shore up their defense next year. They'll be drafting defensive linemen. But they can move it and they can score. And they're unpredictable.
They've got good defensive people, Kurt, but they don't have the great ones. And if you have a whole bunch of good players, you're going to have a good team. They'd like to be great.
Now Seattle has called time. Bit of a confusion. They want to really seal up what they're going to try and do here with 45 seconds to go. They'll have a first down as they picked up 2 first downs in the last 2 plays on the Bears 46.
Well, that's Jerry Rome down there talking now. He's generally upstairs with 1.5 minutes to go in the half. He comes downstairs. He's talking to Zorn. Patera standing next to him. They've got 2 or 3 plays called. They know that their timeout situation is where they only have 1 left, 2 left. They know they've got a couple plays to call. They can get as many plays as 7 in 45 seconds. That's enough to score. That's what they're discussing.
How much does a club practice in a 2-minute drill during a week?
Well, everybody's different. I say that a 2-minute, it seems like most of the scoring takes place in the last 2 minutes of the half or the last 2 minutes of the game. And your philosophy about how you attack might be a little different. Sometimes you catch somebody in a prevent defense. That's candy. Right now, I haven't seen Chicago go to it, but if they do, they better look out.
First down, Seattle on the Bears 46. 7-3, Seattle ahead. Closing seconds of the first half. Look at that protection. There he is. Largent, he has it. 26-yard line, a first down again. 3 first downs, and Zorn rifled a perfect strike.
He threw it the only place Virgil Livers could do nothing about it. They've got a first down inside the 30-yard line on the 26. There's still 37 seconds left. And in only 45 seconds, they moved it from their own 25 to the Chicago 26. That's good execution.
A timeout called by the Seahawks. Watch this pass. Look at the protection, first of all.
Gets good protection, and he does so using his backs in the pattern, who take the linebackers out of the area that Zorn would like to throw. When he does, Livers has no chance to make the play. Largent's in a perfect position to get the ball, and it's sayonara when you execute. You can see Alan Page is looking for draws and screens. This is not loafing. This is looking for any sort of a decoy pattern.
First down, Seattle. 26-yard line of the Bears. 37 seconds remaining in the half. If you joined us late, there's Herrera, the field goal kicker. Seattle scored. 70-yard drive, 15 plays. Sherm Smith going over. And on that drive, they kept the ball 8 minutes and 14 seconds. The Bears have just scored with 1:22 to go in this half on a 33-yard field goal. Seattle has dominated the statistic. Zorn has completed 8 out of 11 today for 111 yards. 5 secondary backs on the field. Zorn has now thrown for 2,030 yards this season. Big rush on him. He gets it away. Largent is open. Touchdown. Touchdown to Largent. And he was hit as he let the ball go. A great catch by Largent in the end zone.
And a terrific throw by Zorn in a very difficult situation. They've got a blitz on. They're sending everybody after Zorn. Largent knows he's got to cut his pattern a little bit short. He leaves Livers checking his shoes out. He's got a lot of room to put the ball. However, he had to throw it before Largent made his move. Excellently timed. Outstanding catch, and they've got 6 on the board.
Look at the pressure there, John. He was hit by Osborne just as he let it go, and young Zorn coolly hung in there.
Well, that's sucking it up and taking your lick.
Zorn will hold. Herrera will kick. And the kick is up. And the kick is good. 31 seconds to go. Zorn took his club from his 26-yard line and went 74 yards for a touchdown in the last minute, 22 seconds of the half. There's Largent. Marvelous catch by this young receiver.
Let's take a look. We're seeing the end of the catch. However, if they haven't communicated very well, in other words, a good receiver knows just by who's playing defense back there, how vacant is it, whether it's a blitz or not. Obviously, if it's a blitz, what you got is you've got to cut your pattern a little bit short. You can't take it quite as far. Had he taken it way down the field, another 2 steps, Zorn would not have been able to come to him with the ball. He did it just right, and that's why they scored.
I can see why he led the nation at Tulsa 2 years in touchdowns, Largent. The way he could get open and the way he can maneuver after he's open.
He put a move. I mean, Virgil Livers is dead because he's got both sides of the field to cover. He knows if Zorn gets enough time, my act has had it. That's exactly what happened.
Here he is once more. Watch this move here. Up, ow. He had him going in,
and the sign of a good receiver is when you come out of your move, be moving, and that's what he was doing.
Herrera will kick off, and the Bear fans are shocked. Their team had just scored a field goal. They looked like they were coming back and ready to take over the game, and then Jim Zorn drove his club in a very short space of time, 74 yards. Onside kick. There's in the ball. And they go out of bounds with it. Bears recover. And that's Jerry Muckenstern who picked it up, a reserve linebacker. Now the Bears have a chance to score.
Well, you can sit there and second-guess that play. However, they've done it 5 times this year. They've recovered 4 of them. Herrera even recovered 1 of his own. They figured they were going to catch Chicago in a simple little return of the kickoff, pick the ball up, try to get some more points on the board. It backfired. Maybe this will pump Chicago up.
14-3, Seattle leading. 29 seconds remaining in the first half. And the Bears have a chance to get back on the board again. The Bears scored a field goal, minute 22 to go. Seattle has just come back with 37 seconds to score a touchdown. Now the Bears have another crack at it. That pass down the middle, over the head of James Scott, and nearly into the hands of the safety man, Johnny Harris.
Harris is a little frustrated. He's been in a position to pick 2 balls off. That time it was like being a catcher, having somebody swing the bat in front of your face. As Scott came across the field, Harris wanted to make sure he got Scott after he caught it and went right by him, almost hit him in the head. He's getting closer.
The Bears have 2 timeouts left. 24 seconds remaining in the first half. Out to the sideline, and it's completed. They'll have to come in. That was Golden Richards hit hard there. And the Bears will have to either, they're calling time. Avellini has gone to the referee. Watch this hit on Golden Richards.
Well, Autry Bayman's back there. He's trying to do anything he can. Hit Richards quick, keep him in bounds, make him call a timeout. They've got 1 more left. Do anything you can to keep him from catching the ball.
That places the ball on the Seattle 19-yard line. The Bears will have a first down, and the clock shows 16 seconds remaining. We've had a lot of plays run off in the last 2 minutes of this half.
And it shows you how important a timeout with 16 seconds left can be toward the end of a half. They can throw the ball anywhere they like and still take a timeout after it's completed. If they were out of them, they'd have to throw it out of bounds. They'd only have time for 1 play, or they have to throw it in the end zone. Now they've got an opportunity to get it down there anywhere they like.
You know, you and I have seen more times this year where clubs have unnecessarily taken timeouts, even in the first period or second quarter, been messed up with something, and some of them luckily have come out all right on it, but we've never seen as many.
I haven't seen a lack of a timeout cost the team a game, and I've seen a lot of them taken just because of confusion. It hasn't happened today, and they're able to use it.
in the last 16 seconds of the first half. Seattle had just scored. They're leading Chicago 14-3. The Bears have a scoring opportunity now in the last few seconds of this half. They're on the 19-yard line of Seattle. It's down the middle. And again, the ball goes off the hands of Roland Harper and nearly deflected into the free safety's hand, John Harris. That stops the clock with 11 seconds to go in the first half. And the Bears short 14-3 on the score.
Avellini was just a little bit high on a little flare pattern. John Harris almost got another one.
The Seahawks have had 2 drives in this game. In the first period, 70 yards, 15 plays. That was the grinding type of drive, mostly running. And their last drive, 74 yards with boom, bam, and in. About 4 or 5 plays, and Zorn took them right down the field with Largent catching the 26-yard pass for the score. Second down 10. Clock moving. It's in the end zone, and it is knocked down by Harris. 4 men around James Scott there. 5 seconds to go in the half. They had 4 men around him, and Harris couldn't hold on to the ball.
That's what I'm talking about when I discuss structure. You have to have plays down there that get somebody open. I'm sitting up here. I could not find one man who was in a position for Avellini to hit. He didn't have a layoff other than Harper, who's standing there alone. He couldn't have picked up enough yardage for the touchdown. Time may have run out. He unwisely went into the end zone, and fortunately, 2 Seahawks were there to bat it down.
Bob Thomas has kicked a 33-yarder, is trying a 36-yarder, and the kick is good. Thomas now is 14 out of 15, and we had 3 scores in the last minute, 22 seconds of the half. 2 field goals by the Bears and a touchdown by Seattle. 1 second remaining in the half as the Bears will kick off.
I think we can safely say that'll be the scoring for the first half.
Hey, don't count on it. Chicago will kick off after the field goal with 1 second to go in the half. The Seattle Seahawks may be questioned for strategy. They had scored a touchdown, and then they tried an onside kick that gave the ball to Chicago in Seattle's territory, and Seattle finally got a field goal out of it.
I think if you live by the sword, sometimes you get stuck by it, and I like their viewpoint. They're having to go at it, and on occasion you're going to guess wrong. They did that. They gave up 3. That's the way it goes.
Rufus Crawford and Al Hunter back on the goal line. Well, this is a deep huddle here by the Bears with 1 second to go for the kickoff. Now they're set. They have only one purpose in mind. Remember, the clock does not start in the last 2 minutes until the ball is touched in the field of play. It is to keep any run back of this one for going all the way. They try an onside kick. Out of bounds. And was a touch. We see that the clock has shown time has gone in the first half, but let's hold here. And the officials are conferring that the ball was touched and then it went out of bounds.
It must have been touched because they could not start the clock if it wasn't.
So that's the end of the first half at Soldier Field, Chicago, with a score of Seattle 14 and Chicago 6.
From the Sierras to the Smokies, people are discovering what makes the great outdoors great.
Beer makes it good. It's just one Schlitz. There's no debate. Nothing else comes near. Beer makes it good. When you're out of Schlitz. Schlitz makes it great. You're out of beer.
Nobody makes it like Schlitz. Every drop chill lagered for quality. 11 million times a day, America reaches for a Schlitz. Because since 1849, Schlitz makes it great.
So when it comes to beer, why make it good? Schlitz makes it like no other could. Schlitz makes it great.
The
secret to getting ahead in business is staying cool, because somebody's always trying to pass you up, especially if you're renting a car. You see, I can walk through airports. I have an Avis Wizard number. Cool.
Oh, Mr. Bell, that mid-sized car you reserved, we just rented the last one.
What?
So we're giving you a Buick LeSabre at the same rate.
What?
Well, that's the Avis policy.
What a wonderful thing to do.
Avis now features GM cars.
Avis, we don't know another way.
That's my team, the Seattle Seahawks. And I'm Steve Largent. Last year, the Seahawks in our United Way showed you the Pacific Northwest, the Cascade Range, Puget Sound, Seattle, and the Space Needle. This year, I want to show you a special part of our town. We have a fire department here like no other in the country, with a special program to save the lives of people who have heart attacks. When someone has a heart attack, what happens in the next 7 minutes can mean the difference between death and being back to work in a week. Our fire department can get there in 4 minutes, so they've trained 100,000 people what to do before they arrive. It's a good feeling to walk down the streets of Seattle and know that if you had a heart attack, chances are someone could help you. At first, the program was supported by groups like the Rotary and Heart Association. But when they couldn't handle it alone, the fire department asked our United Way to come to the rescue, and they did. The United Way works in Seattle, and it works in your town, too. Thanks to you, it works for all of us, the United Way.
Preceding announcement furnished to the public service by the National Football League. All right, John, very quickly here. Second half, what do you think will happen?
Well, number one, Seattle, all they have to do is get the ball. Their offense is effective. Chicago, they have to put it up. They have to throw some play-action passes, move the ball around. It's there for the taking. Avellini can do it, but they've got to go after it.
It's 14-6. The young Seattle Seahawks leading the Chicago Bears at halftime. And NFL 78 will continue after these messages from your local stations.
Friday on Different Strokes, a social worker visits and Arnold tells it like it is.
Arnold, do you miss seeing black children your own age?
No, ma'am. If I miss seeing a black kid my age, all I gotta do is look in the mirror.
Different Strokes, Friday at 8, 7 Central and Mountain on NBC.
Stuart Anderson is just another name on a restaurant. Put yourself in his place.
You're gonna find yourself on the ranch, making sure things pass inspection. Riding herd, sun up to sundown, looking for perfection.
My name's Stuart Anderson. You're gonna get quality beef at a price you can afford. You've got my name on it.
At Stuart Anderson's Black Angus Restaurant, you're gonna feel good inside.
People tell me they're unhappy with many things about Congress. Well, I'm unhappy too, and I'm a congressman. Special interest groups have too much influence. They shouldn't be able to call the tune. That's why I have a rule, no contributions from groups, corporations, labor unions, or political action committees. It's the best way I know to be independent, to represent the individual citizen of my district.
Congressman Joel Pritchard works for you.
Introducing a whole new breed of Mustang. The all-new 79 Mustang from Ford. With a new aerodynamic design, precise handling, and Mustang performance from options of V6, V8, even a turbocharged engine. Mustang for 79, the new breed.
Take the 15-minute test drive at your Northwest Ford dealer. The idea, guys.
You're watching KING TV, Seattle.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our NFL 78 studios. I'm Brian Gumble. Mike Adamley is in our Highlights Center. We're in the midst of Week 10. We'll try to get you caught up. New Orleans against Pittsburgh. This one going on in Pittsburgh right now. The Steelers have just jumped out in front, 10-7 in that ball game on a 6-yard touchdown pass from Bradshaw to Swan. In that game, Franco Harris has eclipsed the 7,000-yard mark for career rushing in this, just his 7th season. Philadelphia against Green Bay. The Eagles trying to find the winning track once again against a 7-2 Packer club. Eagles out in front 7-3 in that ball game in the 3rd period. John Shara, a 3-yard run for the lone touchdown. New England against